Let's do MR urography in Siemens MRI, and this is a 1.5 Tesla MRI machine. For MR urography, theoretical discussion will be shared in another lecture. So at first the HEST localizer is running, and this localizer will give us three images: sagittal, coronal and axial. And now I have to plan on these localizers. So at first I am planning for T2 HEST coronal, and I have changed the phase encoding direction right to left. And for coronal image, plan on the sagittal and axial image and cover the whole kidney and the urinary bladder and the ureter. So after planning is complete, click apply, and now the T2 HEST coronal scan has running. For this I have to ask the patient to hold his breath and then click continue, and now the patient is holding his breath and scan is running, and this is a T2 HEST coronal. Now tell the patient to release his breath, and it's a break time. Again tell the patient to hold his breath and take the next scans. So there are two steps for T2 HEST coronal. Patients should hold his breath for 2 times, and in this time the scans will complete, and I am checking the images, trying to visualize the kidney and bladder, and you can see there is a huge mass and cystic mass in the right kidney. Now I am planning for the T2 HEST transverse breath hold, and for this I am planning on the coronal image, and this planning is covering the whole kidney and mid 2/3 of the ureter. And now I am copying the planning for T2 HEST fat set axial from the T2 HEST axial, and these are breath holds protocols. And now T1 flash axial open, and I copy the plan from the T2 HEST axial. So I will delete this T1. Sorry, I am copy the planning for the T1 axial from the T2 axial, and the scanner is waiting to continue the scan. And before this I have to ask the patient to hold his breath and then continue the scan, and the scan is running and patient is holding his breath, and this is T2 HEST axial scan running. You can see that the black line over the protocol. The first step is done. Now the second step will be taken. This is the break between the first and second breath hold. Now tell the patient to hold his breath again and start the scan, and this is the second breath hold scan for the T2 HEST axial. So right now my T2 has axial scan has finished. You can see on the left hand side that T2 has axial images. Now T2 has fat set axial is running. After I telling the patient to breathe, hold his breath. And this is the first breath hold, and this is, and now it's break for the second breath hold. The second breath hold is running. Patient is holding his breath, and this is T2 has fat set axial protocols is running, and it's finished. So my two axial protocols have finished, and now the T1 axial is preparing to be scanned. And now tell the patient to hold his breath and start the scan by pressing continue button or play button. And this is a 3-step protocol. Patient should hold his breath for 3 times for this T1 flash axial, and this is MBS, that means the multiple breath hold. And now it's break for first and second scan. And now the second breath hold scan is running, and now it's the break between second and third breath hold. Again tell the patient to hold his breath and start the third breath hold scan. Click the continue or play button and the scan will start, and it takes 10 to 12 seconds to complete a scan. So all my upper abdomen axial protocols have been taken, and now I am planning for the lower abdomen, that includes the lower part of the ureters and the urinary bladder. So I am planning for T2 fat set axial, and I increase the field of view to 350. By changing the image, I am checking that the slices are perpendicular to the pelvic bones and spine, and then click apply, and then continue to confirm the table move, and copy the parameter for T2 axial. And there is only two protocols for two axial protocols for lower abdomen. So now T2 fat set axial has been preparing for scan, and now T2 has sagittal protocols open. I closed it. I delete the sagittal protocols, and there is T1 Vibe fat set coronal that is taken after the contrast. I delete this. The last two protocols, number 8 protocols is a thick slice, and number 10 protocol is a 3D protocol. So I will take a normal T2 sagittal turbo spin echo sagittal for the pelvis, because it will give me a high resolution sagittal image of the pelvis, because I have seen a mass in the urinary bladder. So I want to take the proper sagittal image, T2 sagittal image in the pelvic area. That's why I have taken it from the pelvis folder. And now plan the slice on the coronal image and make sure that the slices are parallel to the spine, and it goes through the midline of the rectum and the prostate. We're also checking the sagittal localizer, that is there the saturation band is in the correct position, and then click apply. So now T2 facet axial image is sequence running, and then T2 axial will be start, and then T2 sagittal will be start sequentially. And now T2 space coronal trigger, that is a 3D protocol, and now I am searching for thick slice sequence that is taken for also MRCP, and this is a highly T2 weighted sequence. I have to film the images. So for this, first I am printing the coronal image, that is T2 hashed coronal. You can see that images are in reverse order, so I have to images was in inverse, so I have to reverse it so that the images starts from the anterior side of the patient. So this is a 5x5 layout format, and 25 images have been set in the film, and after there may be extra images, so I have to delete this. So adjust the contrast and window zoom pan, and then print out the film. I think it's okay. So this is a T2 hashed axial. So for printing, select series and send it to the filming, and also the reference image. And also send the T2 facet axial to the filming. I am trying to change the layout of the film. I have selected 4:7, so I have to delete some extra images. So this film contains 47 axial images and 27 axial images and one reference image. This is the coronal image, T2 coronal, and this is T2 axial. Adjusting the window. Adjusting the reference image and changing the contrast of the reference image. So now I am preparing film for T2 facet axial. And also adjusting the reference image. So 3 films I made, 1 T2 coronal and 2 axial. So now the 3D sequence is running. T2 space coronal trigger, this is a respiratory triggered protocol, and this protocol takes time, and SAR limits exceeded. Increase tier and click OK. Now I am selecting the T1 axial, T1 flash axial and send it to the filming. So I have to delete 3 images and remove the reference images from the segments. Just keep one reference image at the end. Adjusting the contrast and adjust the zoom pen. And the first segments I keep all the information of the patients and the parameters. And rest of the segments I keep minimum information. So now it's the lower abdomen T2 fat set axial. You can see that in the urinary bladder there is a dark mass. There's a filling defect mass. I send the series to the filming T2 fat set axial lower abdomen, and that is showing the urinary bladder and the prostate. And you can see that the images are in inverse position, though I have to reverse it so that the image sequence is from up to down or from superior to inferior, and adjusting the reference image. And adjusting the contrast of the images. And the 3D sequence is running. In the meantime, I am preparing my films. And now it's T2 axial lower abdomen. I have sent the films and also the reference image to the filming. And in the filming for axial image, I have set a 4:6 layout for the lower abdomen. So these are the normal MRI protocols that we have to provide to view the kidneys and bladders. And the urography protocols yet not been done, and I will show you later when the scan will start. So now the 3D sequence is running, and in the meantime I am preparing my films, because 3D sequence take sometimes 4 to 5 minutes to be finished. And now it's T2 sagittal. In the sagittal image you can see that there is a mass inside the urinary bladder, and select the series and send it to the filming. And for sagittal image I have to select the layout for 5:5 so that the 25 images fit in the film. Protocols have running. Again on the filming, I just prepare my films but not print out. I am storing the films. So yet 7 films have been prepared. So I have to repeat the scan for thick slice, because I have given IV saline to the patient. So let's see how the ureter now visible. I am checking the axial slices so that the my planning is on the right angle, and it should cover the renal pelvis and go through the ureter. So T2 has 6 slice planning is now start, and you can see now the ureter is visible very good, especially the left one and also the right one. And I am again taking this coronal. So I repeatedly take this Hest coronal multiple times because after administered IV saline, urine start to come go through the ureter to the bladder, and take the T2 Hest thick slice multiple times. You can now see that the ureter is visible on the both side, and there is a cyst in the right kidney that is bright on the kidney. So it's the fourth time I have repeated the scan. So in this image the ureters are shown very good on the both side and also the bladder. And now I am planning for the right sided ureter and angle the plan as the ureter and click apply, and then ask the patient to hold his breath and then continue. So this is the right side sagittal ureter, you can see, and now I am planning for the left side ureter. I'll angle the slice so that the whole ureter covers and then click apply. Tell the patient to hold his breath and start continue. And this is the left side ureter. In the sagittal view you can see that the ureter is visible very fine as before. So now I have to take the 3D image again because my previous 3D sequence does not provide good image of the ureter and the kidneys, and now the urine is flowing through the ureter and the bladder is filled with urine. So right now the 3D protocols will give me a good 3D image of the ureter and bladder. So let's see the 3D scans is start and it's preparing to run. I'm checking out my urography images that are that heavily titulated thick slice coronal images. So I take this image repeatedly 4 to 5 times. So I am telling you again that don't use oral IV in case of urography. So if you use oral IV, you can't see the ureter very good because in the background there will be fluid signal from the water of the intestine. So oral IV is a very bad technique for urography. Always use IV injection or IV normal saline. So oral IV is not the proper word. I should say oral contrast. So don't use oral contrast or oral hydration in case of MR urography. Don't ask the patient to drink water to get the urine flow. Drinking water by mouth will give us fluid signal from the intestine, and this fluid signal will mix with the ureter and the kidney. So our main focus is the ureter and kidney. So this will not show with the intestine. We can't separate the intestine and ureter if the intestine is filled with water. So don't let the patient drink water before the MR urogram. The patient should be fasting for 6 hours and use IV saline, IV normal saline. If everything is fine, patient's pressure is okay, patient's heart is okay, then use IV saline and wait for few minutes. Inject diuretics injection, and it will allow you to excrete or increase renal function. So I am making films for T1 axial. For this I have select 4:6 layout and delete some images. Adjusting the contrast and zoom pan, adjusting the reference image. So I am waiting for the T2 space trigger 3D protocol scan to be finished. You can see that these are the urography images. This is the main urogram images. This is the T2 hashed thick slice coronal. This sequence is also used in the MRCP, thick slice T2 heavily weighted thick slice sequence. So at first I didn't get proper ureter. I didn't get visualization of the ureter because there was no flow of the urine. Then I give patients normal saline 250 ml through IV, and after 5 and 10 minutes I scan this protocol and I get this result. So hope you understand the technique. Don't hurry and use the proper technique and you will get proper result. I'm waiting for the T2 3D image to be finished, then I will post process the 3D. So this is the 3D protocols after IV saline administration, and take out the patient from the machine. The scan has completed. You can see how I prepare my films. T2 coronal. This is T2 coronal, and then T2 hashed axial upper abdomen, T2 fat set axial upper abdomen, and then T1 flash axial upper abdomen. and T2 fat set lower abdomen, and then normal T2 lower abdomen, and then T2 sagittal lower abdomen, and then T2 thick slice urogram images, and then T1 axial, select the 3D series and take it to the 3D tab, and now transfer it to the MIP by selecting MIP and all the segment, and now it's time to cut some unnecessary parts except the ureter, kidneys and bladder. In the middle you can see that a myelogram image from the spinal cord CSF is visualized here. So now first I have to cut the spinal cord or myelogram, and now just I'm rotating the image, and now cropping so that only kidney, ureters and bladders remains, and remove out the unnecessary parts. So I think it's done, and making the radial images, and click start. I should have cut out more regions from the right side of the right ureter. So let's make the films from the 3D images that I recently just made. So this is saved as MIP range. Select the MIP range and select series and send it to the filming, and make the format 5:4. So this is a film for 3D image 3D protocol, that is T2 space trigger respiratory trigger protocol, and these images are made from the 3D tab. These are actually the MIP images. So these are the MIP images created from the 3D protocols. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you like this video, please subscribe my YouTube channel and hit the like button and comment. So if you want to know something, if you have any question, please comment it out, and thank you.